from the Crypt.
Welcome, boils and ghouls, to the Cryptique Podcast. My name's Kenny. I'm here with my good friend, Godden. And together, we're here to watch and review every horrific, often hilarious episode of the legendary HBO anthology series, Tales from the Crypt. Here we are. Godden, Kenny, we're here to watch and review another episode of Tales from the Crypt. We are on Season 3, Episode 7. This episode's called The Reluctant Vampire. It aired on July 10th, 1991, and it comes to us from the Vault of Horror. We're in the middle of like a Vault of Horror extravaganza. We had was it like 4 or 5 episodes in a row that were all Vault of Horror?
Yeah, like 3 to 5. Yeah, that sounds about right. Just on a streak recently.
Yeah, let me check here. It started with Top Billing, Dead Weight, The Reluctant Vampire, and then the 4th one is Ease Will Kill Ya. So that's the next episode we're going to be doing. So 4 episodes in a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, of all Vault of Horror. So this is our Vault of Horror extravaganza. This episode stars Malcolm McDowell, which I only became introduced to him later in his career. So everything that I'm familiar with him, he's much older. He was in Heroes. I watched Heroes. He was in the remake of the Halloween movie. So like that era, like his much older era. So when I saw him in this, I was actually surprised how young he looked. And I put in my notes that it does not have Jennifer Tilly, because the female love interest in this, she kept reminding me of Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, I see. Okay. That'd be funny if that was the.
She just has that same like wispy, floaty voice that I just kept thinking it was her.
I see.
So let's go into the disclaimer. It's very important. You all know this. We are not experts. We are not professionals. In no way do we hold any authority in anything around Tales from the Crypt, other than the fact that we're just big fans of the show, and we want a place to express our love and appreciation for the show. So that's what we're doing here. Feel free to comment and let us know what you think, if you agree or disagree with us. Don't forget to like, comment, and share and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. That helps us grow the community. Here, actually, I wanted to say something. Godden, you may have realized this about me. I am awful at self-promotion. I don't really ham it up with, reminding people to like and subscribe and that kind of stuff. So that's where I wanted to ask you, right there, you person listening at home, walking your dog, or on the elliptical machine, or however you listen to this thing. I don't know. If you can, just share this with a friend and let them know what you're listening to. You never know. If you have another friend who also likes Tales from the Crypt, they may like us going on about it. So I invite you to share our content. That way we can grow our community even more. Godden, what do you think? You think that's going to be helpful?
Yeah, I think it'll be helpful. I like the word of mouth kind of approach anyways, where you just found out through a friend, and we slowly grow. Like you said, like, you never know if someone else kind of close to you actually does enjoy the same show that we like to watch and review. So
yeah. And I've just week after week, I keep telling myself I'm going to go to the Facebook groups, and I'm going to post there, and I'm going to join the this or that group. I never do. I never end up doing it. And whenever I do upload something or share something, I feel smarmy. I feel kind of gross about doing it. So I don't want to shove this down people's throat, but I also want to make sure it's accessible to people who are interested. So if you know somebody who's interested, I guess that's a better way of saying everything that I said before. And finally, before we go into this episode, I want to let you know that there are going to be some spoilers. We are going to go into great detail about the episode. So if you haven't watched it yet and you're curious, go watch it on your own first. It's always worth checking out the twist on your own before you hear somebody else spoil it. So yeah, I recommend going and watching this episode. Well, let us start to dive into this episode. And we always do that here on Cryptique by reading the ancient texts inked in human blood, bound in human flesh on the back of the DVD box set here. Hey, it's 11. Meet the vampire who works as a night security guard at a blood bank. That is super basic.
Oh, that's it?
Basic. Okay. It's kind of the episode. All right. Here is an extended version that I've come up with here. Donald Longtooth is a highly unusual vampire. Sure, he needs to consume human blood to survive, but he's unwilling to hurt anyone. Luckily, Mr. Longtooth has the perfect job. As the night security officer at a local blood bank, he has access to all the blood he can drink. No victims required. Things get complicated, though, when the manager at the blood bank suspects someone is stealing blood. When suspicions shift to Mr. Longtooth, he is forced to make choices he's spent his entire death trying to avoid. I'm really proud of that one. I like the entire death part.
I like it.
Okay, good. Godden's always worried about me spoiling too much when I do my little backstory.
Yeah, and then because then it takes the thunder away from us, giving the review. Because then they're like, oh, well, we know what Kenny wants. We know what he likes.
Well, we know what happens already. Turn the episode off. We're finished. So the episode starts with the Crypt Keeper. He's in the traditional vampire cape, and he's reading a book. He's saying, "I want to suck your blood. That's not right. I want to suck your blood. No, that's not right. I want to suck." Oh, hello, kiddies. And that's when we sneak up on him. I love these moments when he's up to something else before we actually get there. I like when we sneak up on him. He says, "You caught me in the middle of my homework. Your old pal, the Crypt Keeper, is a real believer in continuing deducation." Which brings us to tonight's murderous morsel. It's a juicy little tale about a real bloodsucker who never learned to go for the jugular. I call this plasma play The Reluctant Vampire.
I do like the opening a lot, where it's like you said, like we're just kind of used to just going to his house and then sitting down, and he's just too busy living his life. He forgets that he has a story to share with the kiddies, with us, the target audience. So it's always fun to see him like that.
Yeah, it is cute finding him, because you get little glimpses of his personality, right? He's not putting up a show for us in that moment. He's just doing his own stuff, and then we kind of catch him. So that brings us to the opening panel, where this opening panel is it's an interesting one. You have the vampire getting ready to bite the throat of a beautiful woman who looks like she's waiting for it. And then behind him, if you zoom into that, actually, is that a gun or is that looks like a real gun? Because later on in the episode, you learn that he's not actually holding a real gun. I was hoping that you can kind of see it from here, but from here it looks like a real gun. And I'm also surprised that is not Van Helsing back there, because he has such a distinct look in this episode, which I loved, by the way. And I'm just surprised that they didn't use that in the opening panel.
Maybe that's just part of the twist, or like the fact that he didn't have that much of impact. He's like more of the world of building, because he doesn't really. I mean, no, I'm not trying to give away spoilers, but yeah, like he doesn't. I don't want to say anymore, because I do want to talk about like how he comes to be and what his role is in this episode, because he's not like the biggest.
Yeah, he does play a rather minor character, but his look is so distinct that you would think they'd have some fun, artistically putting that on the panel. But whatever. This episode starts, we kind of pan through like a layer, definitely very layery, right? You have very old, antique stuff around, very gothic stuff around. And as the camera pans, you get to a coffin, and then an alarm goes off. The coffin opens up. You see the vampire's hand comes out, and he turns the alarm off. He grabs teeth that are in like a tray of water, puts the teeth in. He leans up and he goes, "Oh, I hate Mondays." I just think it's so funny to have like a grand introduction of the environment and just the gothic nature of everything. Even the music playing in the background is very like organ music, very creepy. And then just to have it be like just waking up like a normal Monday. He'd rather sleep in, but gosh darn it, he has to go to work. And this, by the way, is Malcolm McDowell. He plays the reluctant vampire here. So he gets out of bed And I love how he pulls on the cord and the bed actually goes up, the coffin goes up like it's one of those hide-a-beds in the wall. It's so funny that it's so like mundane. It's just such a mundane morning of a vampire. Like you would expect the coffin lid to open up and then he just like floats out of the coffin and, you know, everything looks, you know, so haunting. You would expect that, but the way he gets out is just so, it's funny to me. I really like the intro.
That might be more of a Friday, you know, sequence. Maybe that he's more alive, then he can just do that. Floats out.
Just maybe on Friday, right? Maybe on Friday he gets up like that.
Yeah.
Certainly he wouldn't get up like that on a Sunday, the day of the Lord. He would not get up like that.
He'd sleep in.
Yeah. So as he's getting ready for work, he turns the radio on, and the woman on the radio is having a conversation with Rupert Van Helsing. And if you're familiar at all with the story of Dracula, you know who Van Helsing is. Van Helsing is the one who actually hunts Dracula. So Rupert Van Helsing, probably some distant relative of the original Van Helsing, is on the radio, and he says that vampires need human blood in order to survive. So that's a little foreshadowing as to what's going on in the episode. Was there anything else in this intro that you thought was interesting or funny or something you wanted to point out or linger on for a little bit longer?
Oh yeah. I actually did forget about that, but when he's just walking around in his apartment, I love when he like flicks his magical, you know, like hands and just has a candle, like on and off. That little detail, it's just so fun and satisfying to see every time with the practical effects.
Yeah, that I forgot to mention that. I like that too. I like how he kind of waves his hand, little sparks appear on the candles, and then they light up. That's a really cool effect. So this next scene is of our vampire going to work, and I like this scene too. It's like a super, again, the way it's shot from a Dutch angle from way up above. You have the long shadow, and it's in mist, and you have the creepy organ music playing again, and it's just very gothic. And I put Transylvaniac. It's just the whole mood and the whole way it was shot was so creepy, and it's so stylistic. But then in the shadow is the vampire, and he's like almost skipping, just kind of prancing to work, like he's super excited about going. Like it was just the juxtaposition of those two things to me, I thought was so funny. I thought it was great the way he actually went to work. And when he finally got to work, you see the Sunnyside Memorial Blood Bank sign. He gives it a little pat, a little couple pats as he kind of goes into the building. He's just such a positive, spirited person for being a vampire.
No, it's just a regular Monday for him, you know, like you said, a mundane Monday. So he's just kind of doing his whole routine, starting the week off strong, you know.
He might not like Mondays, but gosh darn it, he's not going to let that slow him down getting to work.
Nope.
So when he finally gets to work, that's where we meet. I think his name is Mr. Crosway, by the way. I couldn't see it. I couldn't find it online what his character name was. They were either saying Crosway or Croswaite. I don't know. I'm just going to say Crosway because that's what I heard the most. Mr. Crosway is basically saying that our blood supply is at an all-time low. Something's going on. We don't know what it is, but right. We're low on blood, so something's going on. And in this meeting, in this encounter, Mr. Crosway is talking to Sally. Sally is she works there at the blood bank, and he basically says, you know, he's coming on to her. Basically, I forget exactly what he said. Do you remember what he said to her? Or?
Something about like, oh, or you can come to my office later. We get to the bottom of it, and then as he grabs her butt.
That's what it was. It was the bottom. I remember the bottom part. Yeah, that's what I wanted to remember, but I couldn't. But he's definitely coming on to her and making her feel uncomfortable. And at this point, Mr. Longtooth actually says something. He's, you know, basically says back off or whatever. After that encounter, it's just Mr. Longtooth and Sally together. And Sally basically says, thank you for sticking up for me. That was really nice of you. And this is where you get a little bit of the backstory from Mr. Longtooth. He says, you know, where I grew up, my family would go out hunting, and I never wanted to hunt. We know what that means because he's a vampire. They're hunting humans, but you know, to her, she would think, oh, just hunting animals or whatever.
Right.
And he's embarrassed about the fact that he never wanted to hunt, and she thinks that it's sensitive. He's very sensitive, and she thinks that's sexy. She goes, I think it's sexy. And that's where we get his first, what did you call it? A fang boner.
Yeah, you can like see that he was attracted or like aroused in some way where his fangs would grow out. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's funny, but
yeah, he definitely. I think I think you hit the nail on the head. It was a fang boner, basically. He got all turned on. His fangs popped out. He got embarrassed, so he started covering it up and turning around and trying to avoid her. But it's just funny the way that you put it. I like that.
Yeah.
So that basically, he works here, but he only shows up in passing and sees them in passing, because when he shows up, they're all leaving because work's over. They're going home. He's the overnight security guard at this place. So they all leave, and he's left there by himself with an entire vault filled with human blood. And I love how he drinks it, by the way. He actually pours it into like a mixer, shakes it up, and pours himself some blood in a martini glass. And I called it, this is his type O cocktail. Because he's talking about type O, and he's pouring it into a cocktail. So I call it the type O cocktail. So he drinks that down, and basically that this is how he satiates himself. So he needs blood to survive. He's not willing to kill people, so this is what he does. But he goes into the office to basically cook the books, right? To erase what he stole, so they'll never know. But when he gets there, he realizes that the books, the inventory, has been taken home. So Mr. Crosway took them. So he can't do anything about it. He's stuck. And basically he says to himself, I have to do something about this, even if I hate myself in the morning. So he has to go get the blood back. And I love how he gets the blood back, by the way.
It is a fun scene. I agree.
Oh, did you want to say anything else about him making that type O cocktail?
No, I did enjoy that it was a mixer, and then he was just putting 3 different kinds of blood, and I forget. I feel like he was singing something, just like just having a time for himself while he starts his Monday. Like I said, he's just in routine, so he might hate Mondays, but yeah, like you said, it won't slow him down.
Oh right, I wonder if he's not working over the weekend. Does that mean that he just basically starves over the weekend? I wonder if he hasn't eaten in 2 days.
Oh, maybe actually, yeah, a little fasting.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, he was super excited about it. He was doing a little dance. So he goes out on the streets to get the blood back, and he comes across this old lady walking the dog or something. She was doing something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's walking her dog. That's all she's doing.
Okay, and he gets ready to basically pounce and take her, but he can't do it. He stops. So he's hiding around the corner. Granny's kind of on her own, but then Granny gets mugged. So a mugger comes out. And basically, this is his way in, right? He realizes, I can get the mugger, right? It's like, I won't feel guilty about killing somebody at this point. So he grabs the mugger. He's getting ready to actually suck his blood, but he stops. And he says, have you ever had any bloodborne diseases? Have you done any drugs? Or are you on medication? Have you had any dental surgery in the past 72 hours? Have you? Like he asks all those questions. The mugger's like so surprised, and he's like, "Have you?" Oh, I love that part. That was so funny.
Yeah, that must be so scary, right? Like you're about to die, and then they just ask you these medical questions. Yeah, I wouldn't know what's going on either if that was me.
He also like has like a giant 5-gallon jug that he uses to fill up the blood. And I love how he gets the blood. First, he starts by like squeezing the victim, right? Like pumping the victim. Yeah. And then he's almost like giving it the Heimlich. Then he finally just lays the body down and starts jumping on it to pump all the blood out of the body into the 5-gallon jug. So he brings all the blood back to the blood bank, and he's replacing the blood, and he's basically almost done with everything he's doing. But Sally arrives early the next morning and interrupts what he's doing, so he has to kind of hide the stuff in a closet nearby. And I kind of thought that would come back in some way. I thought that somebody would find the equipment, and then nobody ever does. It never comes back to it, but the point was that she came back a little earlier than he was expecting. And I get the impression that she came back early on purpose because she wanted some alone time with Mr. Longtooth. she's very thirsty for this man.
Yeah. It's I love it because every time you have a Sally scene, her eyebrows are just balanced in syllables, like whatever she was saying. So it was great to see everything.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know what she's saying, she's like, very happy and very forward with what she's trying to
Yes.
initiate. Yeah.
Yes. Her eyebrows, like they usually when your eyelashes will flutter, well, her entire eyebrows, yeah, you're right. They flutter when she talks. She's very light and airy in the way she speaks and her mannerisms. I like this character a lot, by the way. She's very funny. She kind of reminds me of, remember Dig That Cat, He's Real Gone. Remember what's her name? Who was really after Ulrich the Undying?
Yeah, who like backstabs him. Midway through. Yeah,
she kind of reminds me of her. Very like a similar style of character. Anyway, so she arrives early and she uses this time to question Mr. Longtooth. She says, "Is there something wrong with me?" And he says, "No, there's nothing wrong with you." And then she says, "Well, then, is there something wrong with you?" And he says, "Well, I don't understand." And she goes, "Don't you get it?" And she reaches in for a hug. And this is where he gets another fang boner. So he, has to hide his fangs from her and basically kind of, let himself out, kind of leaving her by herself. So yeah, they're both into each other, but he doesn't want her to find out he's a vampire, obviously so, right? And it's giving her mixed messages. So this is the sexual tension that the episode gives us. I love it, by the way. I think this is great. I love his little fang boners. I think it's a funny visual gag that separates the two. That was good.
I agree.
So after he takes his first victim, right? This is apparently the very first time he's had to kill somebody since he's got this job at the blood bank. So we go to the police station. They're kind of investigating this murder, and that's where we get introduced to Rupert Van Helsing. So the police are kind of, gathered around looking at, a wall of photos, trying to figure out what's going on. And Van Helsing approaches, and this guy looks I love the look of this character so much. He's got that fedora on, the giant Coke bottle glasses that are magnifying his eyes to be so much larger, and he just has that look to him that's so funny. I think he looks great. And he says, the cops are basically like, what are you doing here? He says, "I want to help you, but first, you're not going to believe anything I tell you. You're going to think I'm strange, bizarre. But in 3 or 4 days, when the city is awash in blood, you're going to beg me for help." That is such a great opening line for this character and such a great introduction. What a great introduction altogether. I love the way he introduced himself. You're going to think I'm crazy, but when this place is basically, awash in blood, you're going to be coming and begging for my help. The police, of course, dismiss him, and that's when he shows photos of corpses that are similar to what the police are looking at. So the police are looking at, corpses that have the fang marks on their jugular, and he has photos of the same marks on other victims' throats. So he's basically saying, I know what's going on here.
Yeah, I just enjoy his intro when Rupert just comes in. You think you're going to think I'm strange, and then bizarre. It's a good time, honestly. Like the way he introduces himself, because he's so just aware of how he's going to get treated. Well, he just already knows what's going to happen. It's all expected. He knows how crazy he seems. He knows that nobody believes in vampires. He probably knows that he looks so strange, like everything about it. But again, the costume design and everything about this character, I want more Rupert Van Helsing, definitely. So back at the blood bank, Mr. Crosway is basically telling everybody, "Look, we're low on blood. Something's wrong. We need to cut back. We need to basically start laying some people off." And that's where he again comes on to Sally, basically saying, "But I can help keep your job," and comes on to her again. And so that night in the blood bank, Mr. Longtooth is kind of talking with his pet rat. He's got a pet rat this whole episode, by the way. And
he's basically telling his rat, what do? I don't want to go back to the streets. I can't lose this job. I can't go back to the streets and start killing people. I can't do that. Like, that's not who I am. Again, he's being a reluctant vampire. He needs the blood to survive, but he really doesn't want to do it. But then he devises a plan, chatting with. I wonder if he can hear Rupert. By the way, I wonder if Rupert's talking back to him, because he does seem to get this idea while talking to Rupert. He says, "Yes, I can save the blood bank and take a bite out of crime." So his plan is to go, steal the blood of criminals.
Right, like a vigilante, as you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
He just helps out with cleaning up the street, so he doesn't feel too guilty. He's killing innocent bystanders.
Yeah, and that's followed by a montage in the streets. Basically, he's taken out. He takes out a carjacker. Right, somebody breaks into a car, then he reaches from behind and grabs them. He takes out a burglar, kind of like doing that whole thing where you break the glass by cutting it into a circle. He takes out one of those guys.
Oh yeah.
He takes out a safe cracker. I just thought, like, how 1920s is this? He's not taking out any criminals that you would see normally. He's taking out, safe crackers and burglars. So that's followed by a montage of these, like, headlines from newspapers, but it's the type where they kind of spin in and they spin out, like from the comics from back in the 50s. You'd see that all the time. So this scene, this montage in particular, really harkens back to where this comic came from back in the 50s. So I really like this scene too. And while you're seeing this montage of these newspaper headlines, you see Van Helsing, and he's definitely onto him. He sees what's going on. So the noose is tightening around Mr. Longtooth. There's only so long he can get away with all these murders before Van Helsing finally catches up to him. And the police don't care if you're killing other criminals, right? We learned that from episode 1, season 1, right?
Yeah. Yes, you're right. We did learn that from.
The police don't care if you are, if you're cleaning up the streets. They don't want that to happen. So back at the blood bank, Mr. Crosway is very happy. Basically, they've gotten over 500 pints of blood in 2 days. He says, "We're back in business." Oh, and in the celebration scene, Sally and Mr. Longtooth hug, right? But he gets another fang boner. He has to pull away and kind of hide his mouth again. But he's definitely turned on for this girl right here. So, anything else you want to add before we move on to the police station?
No, this is honestly one of the episode kind of takes its pace even more, because these are just all the little setups, and now we know, like, is he gonna get caught? Is he gonna get away with it? Because he's just killing all these people and just grab all the blood for the bank. So we'll see how it all unfolds now.
Right. Yeah, because you still are expecting a twist in there somewhere, right? This is a Tales from the Crypt episode, so you're like, where's that twist? So back at the police station, Van Helsing tells the police, basically, I've found that a bunch of Transylvanian soil has been ordered and delivered to an address in the city mere blocks away from the homicides. And again, if you follow the story of Dracula at all, you'll know that he needs to basically rest on soil from where he's from. So Dracula is from Transylvania, so he'll need to bring Transylvanian soil and actually sleep on it. So he'll put it in his coffin. That's kind of the story, the lore of Dracula. And I like how they presented it here. Kind of almost a throwaway line that you wouldn't really pay attention to, but knowing the lore, it's a nice little touch. I like that. So this next scene is basically where we get the rest of the episode. So we're back in the lair, the vampire's lair. Mr. Longtooth comes in. He's getting ready for bed, and that's where Mr. Crosway reveals himself. I guess he followed him to his lair. He says, basically, I know it was you stealing the blood, and we never had a blood shortage. I lied because I wanted to see how much blood you can really get for me. Now that I know you can get all this blood, I want you to basically run around the streets and steal a bunch of blood for me. I guess blood is worth a lot of money in this world. I don't know, But yeah, Mr. Crosway just wants all this blood. And Mr. Longtooth, he's holding him up at gunpoint, by the way. This is an important part of the story.
Right.
He's holding him up at gunpoint. And he tells him his plan, right? I want you to take all this steal all this blood for me. So, basically fill my wallet with all this blood. And Longtooth, he's not intimidated. He says, bullets are no good on me, foolish mortal. And he kind of comes at him and then he squirts him with a squirt gun filled with holy water. Oh, I love this. This is so funny to me. Yeah, so I love while he's squirting him with a squirt gun to get him to do this for him. He says, I'm running out of criminals. And Mr. Crosway's response is, I'll take someone who's rude or cheats on their taxes. He says, what, should I just pick people at random? He says, works for me. As far as I'm concerned, their blood is already ours. They're just keeping it warm for us. So this is where I really got the sense that Mr. Crosway is the one who is willing to take human blood, paying no mind to how he gets it. Like, he's willing to kill anybody to get human blood. And this is where I got the sense that it's Mr. Crosway who's the vampire here, right? Mr. Crosway is the one who greedily wants all that blood and will stop at nothing to get it. Mr. Longtooth is actually exercising some refrain, is actually holding back and trying to be thoughtful about it. And it's Mr. Crosway who really wants it. I just thought that was an interesting dynamic, that the one you thought was a vampire all along is actually the more human, and the one who was human is actually more like a vampire. Kind of a neat little twist. So that I think is a good twist in the episode. Once Mr. Crosway finally talks the vampire into getting the blood some way, that's where we get revealed that Sally's there too. So Sally comes forward and says, no, you can't do it. And that's also where we find out that Sally knew all along that he was a vampire, and she doesn't care. She thinks it's sexy. She thinks a lot of things are sexy.
Yeah. She's so silly.
This is where also we get a good payoff. And remember in the beginning when he pulled that rope and it was like a hide a coffin up in the side of the wall.
Yeah.
He grabs that same rope, he lets it go, and then down falls the coffin onto Mr. Crosway's head and knocks Mr. Crosway out. And that's where Donald, Mr. Longtooth, says, sucker. And that's where I really got it. Like, oh, he's a sucker. Like, he's the one sucking the blood from anybody he can. Like, he's the one who, anyway, I think I'm beating a dead horse. The point is, he's a vampire. So at this point in the scene, this is where Van Helsing arrives with the police. They hear him coming down the stairs, so they quickly hide Mr. Crosway in the coffin, and then Sally and Mr. Longtooth hide behind the couch. Down come the police and Van Helsing. They open up the coffin to see Mr. Crosway, and they plunge a stake into Mr. Crosway's heart, therefore killing the vampire. They leave, leaving Sally and Mr. Longtooth alone, and Sally says basically, oh, that was so horrible and so exciting. And she basically asks to be turned into a vampire, and he slowly, right, with his fangs, goes towards her neck to bite her, but he stops just for a moment to say, have you had any dental surgery in the last 72 hours? And when he finally bites her neck, she says, oh, this is so sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, and that brings us to the Crypt Keeper outro. There's a dead woman lying on the table in front of him. He says, it's good to see two lovers so batty about each other. Now that's a relationship they can sink their teeth into. As for me, I've got to get back to work. Exams, I hear the finals a real pain in the neck. Not that I'm worried or anything. So far, all my marks have been perfect. And that's when he reveals that she's got the marks on her neck. So I think the Crypt Keeper was up to something while he was telling us the story.
Yeah, but is it his wife? Because, at some point or other, I think it's in the later season, he's with his wife or his dead girlfriend or something. So.
Oh, was that
maybe
in... There was an episode where he was in bed with like another corpse. And then at one point her head falls off, and he's like, yeah, she's head over heels for me, and then her head falls off and rolls off the bed. What episode was that?
I'm trying to think.
I don't remember what episode that was. There's been quite a few love stories in the Tales from the Crypt so far. It could have been a variety of stories.
Yeah, no, but it's all over the place. It'd be funny if it was consistently just the one.
In terms of this episode, I thought it was interesting that we followed a monster who wasn't the bad guy, almost like a vigilante monster or like a likable, friendly monster. And it made me think of Frankenstein, because remember, Frankenstein is the doctor whose monster is the good guy, right? Or the victim,
right? And
it's the doctor who's the evil one. So it made me think of that. There's Twilight, right? Twilight, we have the werewolves and the vampires, and some of the werewolves and vampires are actually the good guys, right? So that was kind of an interesting little twist on that. Any others that you can think of where the monster is the good guy?
Notre Dame, the Hunchback of Notre Dame. That counts. Yeah, the religious figure is actually the bad guy.
Oh, in Interview with a Vampire, the vampires were done so in a way to make them the main characters that make you relate with them. Oh, an Interview with a Vampire also had that little girl who was so desperate to become a vampire, and that reminds me a little bit of Sally. How Sally is so desperate to become a vampire. Oh, same thing with Twilight. What's her face? Bella wants to be the vampire so badly. I think that's actually a common trope, isn't it? Of people wanting to become a vampire.
Yeah, it's the immortality aspect, I'm pretty sure. It's like, oh, that'd be so cool. I can just never die.
Yeah.
So,
anything else you can think of that this is kind of similar to?
Oh, I guess like Edward Scissorhands, he was like the monster.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't have like the happiest ending, but he kind of had a happy ending for his case. He got something out of it. Warm Bodies is actually a good pick. It's like, he's just supposed to be the bad guy, but it's just a zombie trope, and then ends up, winning in the end, like our friend Donald. So
that's right. Yeah, in Warm Bodies, you had the main character who's a zombie, and everybody thinks he's bad, but he turns out to be, just a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting trope. I like it. So, I liked this episode. I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. I think they did a lot of good. Just a lot of the juxtapositions of just being so gothic and creepy, but keeping it so light spirited, like the prancing to work and the getting out of your coffin and saying, "Oh, Mondays," and getting ready to suck the blood of your victim and then saying, "Have you had any dental surgery in the last 72 hours?" Like all that kind of stuff to me was so much fun. I chuckled out loud quite a few times while watching this. I like this episode a lot. So let's go to scoring. Godden, what would you give this episode?
I'll give it 4 fangs. I did enjoy this a lot. I think it's a solid 4 out of 5. It's something I could watch again. It's something I'd recommend, but I'm not sure if it's missing anything that would knock the score higher. I just feel like 4 is just a safe point for me. So
okay,
that's gonna be me.
Yeah, 4 is good. I'm gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 Type O cocktails.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of fun. This is a really good episode. All right, so Godden, I have some explaining to do with our correspondence this week. A couple of episodes ago, we did a review for Top Billing.
Yes.
And I gave it a relatively low score. And I got to tell you, I don't take anything personal by this, but we got some people in our community who are really at bat for this episode, and they disagree with my original score. So I just want to cue you in on a little bit of some of the comments here. Iron Sabbath came through right after our episode dropped and said, sorry, but I have to hard disagree with Kenny here. This episode is great. My favorite is a director who's played by John Astin, the original Gomez Adams, still alive by 95, by the way. He hams it up so good, and the twist ending was delightfully dark. It wasn't just Iron Sabbath. The Jemirian came in and said, agreed. A big fan of this episode. The acting was perfect and the twist was superb. It's so much fun rewatching it after knowing they're all insane. Joseph Hill jumped on the bandwagon here. He says, I agree with Iron Sabbath. I like this one more than Kenny did. The lack of gore doesn't bother me that much. I still found it enjoyable. So, yeah, a lot of fans out there really like this episode, and I love the fact that you all are at bat for this episode. I think the episode's fine. I think it's a good it's a well-made episode. It's good. I'm a big fan of John Lovitz, but if I'm going to sit down and watch an episode, that one's not going to be it. That one I didn't find it as entertaining. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with my score, but I love that you guys love the episode, and I love that you guys are willing to go at bat for the episode. That means a lot to me. So, yeah, if there's an episode that we cover that we don't think, that you don't think we did justice to, let us know. Let us know what you think. I don't take it personal. My feelings aren't hurt. I think everybody is allowed to have their own opinion. That's just mine. So, and Godden and I disagreed because I didn't like the episode that much. Godden, you thought it was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's just a lot of fun. I'm glad the comments are on my side, you know. They got good taste.
Okay. Well, our comments aren't all about scolding me either. There's we have a comment. I wanted to in particular highlight this comment here. Back on season 2, episode 2, The Switch. Remember, while we were reviewing that episode, we had mentioned that it was the only episode so far that didn't have any deaths. I don't know if you remember us making that point, but we did talk about that. And the Jemirian said, yeah, I never thought about how this is the first episode with no deaths. Makes me wonder how many there are. I just assumed all have at least one death, but nope. Yeah, we kind of made that comment and then we kind of forgot about it. I never really thought about it much anymore after that. So I really did some thinking, and I went through the other episodes that we've covered since, and I've, looked at them to see whether or not they have a death. And The Switch is indeed the very first episode with no deaths. It's season 2, episode 2. Season 2, episode 3, the very next episode, Cutting Cards, had no deaths. Remember, that's the one where the two are just cutting off each other's limbs.
Yeah.
So no deaths in that episode either. And so far, all the episodes we've covered, those are the only 2 with no deaths. So I wonder, now God and I might forget again. We might need a little reminder from time to time. Hey, by the way, are there no deaths in this episode? So you in the comments, if you want to kind of maybe remind us periodically throughout our journey through this, through the show. I think that'd be fun to have a running tally by the very end. Almost like a kill count, but like reverse. Like how many episodes had no deaths? So far we have 2. And gotten, as far as Horrorspondence is concerned, we have gotten a tremendous amount of comments on various episodes throughout the seasons that we're just getting to the point now where there's so many comments. It's really hard to get to everybody, which breaks my heart a little bit because I love this back and forth that we have with our community out there. But we're starting to get to a point now, people. I'm sorry. It's going to be very difficult to get to all of the comments. So those are the main highlight of the comments that I wanted to go over today. So with that, I want to get to another important part of our podcast, which is shout outs. I think it's important to shine a light back out to the podcasting community and just let you know that there's other options out there. If you like Tales from the Crypt and you like this whole format of a couple of guys here just going back and forth and talking about the episodes, Creeps of the Crypt does a great job. And I got to tell you, I was watching one of their episodes. It was actually the episode of The Top Billing. They actually had, at the very end of their episode, they had an interview with John Lovitz. So I don't know how they're getting pull and getting celebrities, guest starring on their podcast, but could we get a little of that, please? If you know anybody who's willing to come chat with us, let us know. We'll have them on. So very, very cool, Creeps at the Crypt. Very, very cool that you guys managed that celebrity guest. Very, very cool. Haddonfield Radio, I'm still a big fan of them. They actually do commentaries of slasher movies. I enjoy watching their content and listening to their content. Return, Revenge, Resurrection. They have a similar format to us where they just go back and forth and talk about stuff, but it's movies. It's slasher movies. And they have a long list of things that you can go listen to. And of course, there's us, the Cryptique Podcast. If you like us and you want more of what we can, of what we offer, there. My name's Kenny, and I can be found at 2 Bad About Kenny. That's TOO Bad About Kenny, as well as the number 2 Bad About Kenny. I can be found on YouTube and Twitch, playing games, reviewing movies and books. Godden, how about you?
Me, well, they can find me also streaming occasionally on Twitch at UAPP06, and also our Twitter, the Cryptikers. There you can also have further engagement if you don't get to your comments in time on YouTube and you want like an expedited response. That's one way you can reach us.
Yeah, I do want to, before we go, one more time, just a shout out to our community that we're building on here. Thank you so much for the views. Thank you so much for the comments. I really appreciate them. I would love just to go through and read every single comment, but that's just unreasonable. Keep them coming though. I love reading the comments. I love everything we're getting out of you guys. So keep it up. I really appreciate it. I want to let you guys know that I won't be able to necessarily get to everybody's comment anymore. It's starting to get to that point where we're getting too many comments. I shouldn't say too many comments. We're getting more comments than is reasonable to read on our podcast. So with that out of the way, next week, if you're following along and you want to watch it with us, we are going to be watching Season 3, Episode 8, Ease'll Kill Ya. It's the final episode in our Vault of Horror extravaganza. So until next week, kiddies, we here at the Cryptique Podcast wish you all sweet nightmares.
Well, how was that for a scream, boys and ghouls?